right, kicking off the show with Gideon till the wheels fall off. It is Tuesday, June 17th, 2025. I am Peaches. This, of course, Peaches Pip Party right here on K-Bear 101. Tomorrow we were supposed to have East Idaho News show up at 10 a.m. to see what it's like to work a day in the life of being an employee at Riverbend Media Group, but they moved it to Thursday, and now I have this anxious feeling like, am I going to be here in time for when they show up? Because they decided to move it to the one day I have an appointment with my cardiologist. It's like my yearly checkup, or like last year I got the prescription for the meds I'm currently taking, and so I got to go in again to get a new prescription. And I'm sure, it's a snail's pace, not only when it comes to the cardiologist, but literally anything doctor related. You could be sitting there with some major cut, blood coming out. They're going to make you wait like an hour and a half in that waiting room. Like, the appointment's for 8:30. But am I going to be in there with the doctor at 8:30? I can bet you money I'm not going to. I can bet you money right now they're going to have me in that waiting room for like 45 minutes, and then they'll go, Brandon, even though it says Brendan on the sheet, Brandon, okay, come with me. And then they tell you your weight, and you're like, oh, why did I need to know this? This ruined my whole day. Maybe I should stop eating Taco Bell and Culver's and, just either one of those two every single weekday, huh? Maybe I should. And I'm sure it'll take even the doctor a long time to get to the room. Finally, they have you wait in that room, and there's always no cell service in that room too. So then you're just sitting there like a weirdo, staring at the wall, watching the TV, the same advertisements on the TV, like, hey, to help out your heart, you should be eating a diet of leafy greens and lean proteins. Avoid high saturated foods, highly saturated fats, salts, all that terrible stuff for you. But what tastes good? The burger, the cheeseburger, the fast food cheeseburger always tastes great. But yes, I'm hoping to be here at that time to basically just show East Idaho News what it's going to be like, or what it is like to work as an employee at Riverbend Media Group. And then they'll put it on East Idaho News, and people get to see behind the scenes what exactly happens here. And we don't just, sit here all day in between songs and talk. No, we do tons of other stuff. If you want to get a hold of me, you can over at 208-535-1015. We'll continue Peach's Pip Party here in just a few. So every 4th of July, it feels customary to watch the Nathan's 4th of July hot dog eating contest. At least that it was a sort of tradition we would have at my parents' place. I didn't watch it last year. I was one of those people that was doing a silly quote-unquote boycott of the Nathan's famous 4th of July hot dog eating contest because the GOAT, the greatest of all time, was not a part of it. And to me, it didn't feel like it was the same without him. Joey Chestnut, the greatest hot dog eating contest champion, the greatest hot dog eating contestant of all time. He is officially confirmed to compete in this year's Nathan's 4th of July hot dog eating contest after sitting out last year due to a conflict over a sponsorship deal with Impossible Foods, which is funny. That's like a vegan food brand, isn't it? A vegan brand. Chestnut and Major League Eating have shaken hands and considered their beef to be over with, no pun intended there. Without Chestnut in the competition last year, this guy named Patrick Bertoletti claimed his first victory with 58 hot dogs. Nothing compared to Joey Chestnut. 58 hot dogs and buns in 10 minutes. A mere snack for Chestnut, who holds the record with 76. Wasn't it like on Netflix or something last year where he ate like 83? Like, everyone watched that one instead, so I'm sure the people who run the Nathan's 4th of July hot dog eating contest were like, yeah, he's the guy who draws in the viewers. Maybe we should include him in this year's competition. Of course, he's going to win, but every American wants to see that. It's the second best way to celebrate the 4th of July. The first best way, obviously, is the Idaho Falls Community Hospital Riverfest, presented by Idaho Central Credit Union, Tag and Go Car Wash, and Riverbend Media Group. Again, coming to Snake River Landing in Idaho Falls this 4th of July. My friends will be here for it. It'll be the first time they'll ever see the Melaleuca Freedom Celebration, which is all synchronized to music on Classy 97, which I highly recommend. Just as you watch the fireworks show, you're at your car, and you have the radio on Classy 97. Don't listen through the app. It's a little delayed there. Make sure to listen to the whole soundtrack on a traditional radio rather than the app to avoid those buffering delays. But overall, it is going to be a whole lot of fun. I'm excited to see Joey Chestnut win once again. Now, this article starts off by saying there's nothing worse than someone eating stinky food on an airplane, which I could think of many other things that are far worse compared to that. But this woman on TikTok, she shared this video of her sitting next to somebody that was eating a tuna salad right there on the plane. Apparently, this lady blended the tuna with Greek yogurt and relish and then took 45 minutes to eat it. Not only did she commit a crime by doing this, but she also took forever to chow it all down. Now, see, when it comes to eating, I'm a very fast eater. Unfortunately, I inherited that from my dad. It's one of the worst things that I have to deal with now is I try my best to slow down, but then I'm like, you know what? I'm on my lunch break. I think it's because all throughout high school, I shouldn't say all throughout high school. Well, for the most part, in high school in the morning, I would try my best to eat breakfast at home. But my senior year, I was forced to have a zero period, which is even earlier in the morning. And I was going to a high school that was about 30 minutes away. And it would take me a minute to get ready in the morning. And then my dad would be like, we got to eat in the car. You got to eat it fast. We got to get going to school. I'm just like him when it comes to, being early to things. So I had to eat my oatmeal real fast in the morning, eat whatever I had in the morning real fast. And I think that's what started this whole, me eating fast. On my lunch break earlier today, I chowed down on a Culver's Double Deluxe real fast to get back to the studio so I could start, prepping for this afternoon show. But 45 minutes to eat a tuna salad on a plane. That lady should have been arrested. Now, again, there are so many worse things you could do on a plane or things that could happen on a plane. I would obviously say the easy ones, having a crying toddler kicking your seat the entire time. That's worse than someone just eating a stinky salad. I mean, to be quite honest with you, the smell of tuna doesn't bother me. It's if someone reeks of cigarettes next to me, that right there, no thanks. Arkansas relief pitcher, I don't know how you say this guy's last name. Is it Gabe Gaekle? Gaekle? Gaeckle. Gabe Gaekle made history in the College World Series with the first ever shoelace delay when this whole thing's worded poorly. When Gaekle pitches his delivery, sees him drag his right foot so violently against the mound that he has to change his laces in that shoe after every inning. During Arkansas's first game, his laces gave out in the 5th inning, so umpires delayed the game to allow Gaekle to get some replacements. Even though Major League Baseball claims this year's balls are the same as last year, Andrew McCutchen of the Pittsburgh Pirates says, you know what? That's not true. I'm calling cap. MLB claimed they are not sure why there's more drag on balls hit deep into the outfield. But McCutchen says he was told by an MLB rep that there are higher seams, which produces more drag. McCutchen added, when I asked if there was something that can be done about correcting the current performance of this year's baseball, I was told there was nothing that can be done about it this season, but they are working hard on getting to the bottom of why the seams are higher. The NFL Players Association is starting to make a push for natural grass fields in all NFL stadiums. They're pointing out the irony that stadiums can roll out lush grass for international soccer matches, but not for the players who use the fields all season long. The union tweeted, looks nice, with a photo of MetLife Stadium's temporary grass for a soccer event, tagging it #SaferFields. Some owners, of course, wanted to keep turf because, it's cheaper to maintain. Who cares about the safety? It's just cheaper. That's all that we care about, saving money. But with the NFL always pushing for longer seasons and more international games, the players might finally have some leverage to make progress with the issue of field surfaces. That does it for your Shot Clock Sports Update right here on K-Bear 101. Now, this is the first time I think I've done this, but I nominate myself as the genius of the day. Well, I should have nominated myself as the genius of the day yesterday. Yesterday, we tried delivering all those pet food donations to Snake River Animal Shelter, which, by the way, I wanted to give a huge thank you to everyone who came by the Riverbend Media Group booth tent. And Riverbend Media Group booth. I should have just said booth. But everyone who came by and dropped things off, we really, really appreciate it. We ended up with so much food. The people at the Snake River Animal Shelter were also very appreciative of not only the food, but also the leashes, garbage bags, cleaning wipes. There was a whole lot of good stuff that people brought by, and it went straight to the Snake River Animal Shelter today because, well, this is why I'm nominating myself as the genius of the day. Yesterday, we went over there, and we should have looked this up beforehand. They were closed for vet appointments. They're closed on Mondays, and on the Maps app, it even says closed today. And I still ended up driving over there, which it was nice to get out of the studio. But yeah, we decided to, go first thing this morning, right as they opened up, delivered everything. Again, they were very appreciative, and we're also very appreciative of everyone in the K-Bear Rock Army, as well as all the other music channel fans here in the building for Classy Z103, Cannonball, 105 The Hawk. We're all appreciative that people came by and donated what they could. We'll be at the Idaho Falls Farmers Market next month, and we'll be collecting donations for something different. More details on that will be coming soon. But make sure to also check out the Idaho Falls Farmers Market every Saturday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Memorial Drive. It's so much bigger compared to last year, and there's a whole lot of great stuff being sold. Go check it out. Now, I thought this was a joke. It was reported by Food Beast, which is a legitimate source. I can tell you that. They're on top of all the food news, all the necessary food news there is. And it's funny because literally last night, my friends and I were talking about this on Discord. Capri Sun. We were making jokes about Respect the Pouch, those old commercials. And one of my friends, Christian, he's obsessed with Capri Sun. I'll have to tell him about this news that Capri Sun just announced their limited edition solstice pouch, which is a pouch to celebrate the longest day of summer. And what they're doing with this one is they're making it 15 inches long, and it holds 20 ounces of juice, which is more than triple a regular pouch. And they have a picture here, and this thing's pretty wild to see. It kind of looks like one of those, we don't have any yard houses around the area. I was about to say that, like when you go to a bar and someone gives you like that yard glass and you can drink like a yard of beer, kind of looks like that, but it's much more fun, I would say. But it says here the pouches cost $1.50. Pretty cheap for 20 ounces of juice. It's been years since I've last had a Capri Sun, but I can only imagine if I walked into the office just sipping on my 15-inch long, 20-ounce Capri Sun, that someone is bound to make fun of me right away. And I'm betting it will be Viktor. K-Bear 101, Wendy's making people upset. If you noticed your dog barking at the television lately, it may be Wendy's fault. The fast food giant is airing a commercial for its new Frosty flavors, but the ad begins with a Ring doorbell chime. Dog owners who happen to have Ring doorbells have now turned to social media to complain that it's driving their dogs crazy, and as a result, driving them crazy too. People have been calling on Wendy's to pull the ad or at least remove the doorbell sound, but so far the burger chain hasn't responded. Some people are saying I'm going to fight Wendy's for their new Frosty commercial with the doorbell ring chime because these three monsters lose their crap every time it plays. Why would Wendy's put a Ring doorbell sound on their commercial? My dog is extremely tired of your false alarms. I mean, to be quite honest with you, don't you train the dog to, act normal or act, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, act normal, Like my parents, they adopted Daphne when she was, how many weeks old? Was it 6 weeks or was it like a few? No, I think she was like 3 months old at the time. Daphne was a poodle mix. My mom never trained her. So she ended up being a straight up lunatic. Would tear up furniture, would freak out at anybody even remotely close to the house. It was the most annoying thing. I talked about this on the show previously about how like you would have to go meet somebody outside and you have to do it out of the view of the front window there. Otherwise, Daphne would have lost her mind. And then every time I would tell my mom like, "Hey, why don't you train her?" And then she would try somehow reversing it to me where it was like, well, I didn't train you all that well, did I? And then it's like, no, just train the stupid dog. Like, come on. If I were Wendy's, though, I couldn't be the spokesperson for Wendy's. I'm sure they'll do some sort of like, well, I don't know, because Wendy's has a crazy social media presence, especially on Twitter. Like, they talk a lot of crap on Twitter. I feel like they might just go haywire on their Twitter account and be like, it's your fault for having a dog or something like that. It would be fun to run an account like that, to be quite honest with you. I'm super jealous of, what is that station over in Boise? 96.9, The Eagle. Again, I got to give them credit for having one of the best Facebook pages there is. They put up, that I talked about this on the show previously too. They put up a new profile picture and a new cover photo with these particular colors, and people were losing their minds in the comment section, and all they're doing is just clapping back at people and saying they're going to keep it up now even longer because people are complaining about it. That's what you got to do. You got to fight back. Stop letting the people on Facebook, the Facebook bullies, run their mouth. Especially if they're saying some dumb stuff. You just fight them back. Fight them back. I can't wait for Wendy's to respond to this complete outrage, right? This could have qualified for Cue the Outrage. You can hear that sometimes on the Victor Wilt Show. If you've opened your mailbox lately to find a random household object in it with your daily selection of bills and junk, well, don't be creeped out by the mysterious placement, and definitely do not remove it. Your mailman will thank you. Shout out to the mailmen that tune into K-Bear, those postal workers that tune into K-Bear. We appreciate you around here. As temperatures rise, out come the yellow jackets and wasps. I talked about it yesterday that I have these 3 major bug bites on me, 1 on my arm and 2 on the back of both of my knees. And yesterday, it felt like I was squashing grapes as I would fold my legs, Luckily, they're getting better. They're healing. But, as temperatures rise, these annoying pests come out. And apparently, they've got a thing for dark, cozy mailboxes. Unless, of course, there's something in there they don't like, which is, by the way, scented dryer sheets. Mail carriers across the country are turning to the unlikely weapon just to make sure, they don't get stung. It would suck to deal with something like that. You're already out there. Now, I think if there's a mail carrier tuning in right now, don't we have the new vehicles that have the AC? Because I thought before there was no air conditioning in those mail carrying vehicles, and that's one of the many problems with them. That was one of the many problems with them. And now these new ones do have AC in them, which would suck. Make sure maybe to leave out some water for your local mailman, just to be safe. It's hot for everybody out there, especially for those people who work outside. Like, luckily right here, you can give me a giant, oh, good for you, Peaches. I'm in this nice studio with this AC on behind me. I wouldn't imagine what it's like. I do not want to imagine what it's like working outside right now, but especially being a postal carrier. And then you have to worry about not only the stereotypical, dog chasing you out of the front yard, but also now if you reach into a mailbox, all of a sudden you get stunned by a wasp or a yellow jacket. I would just quit on the spot. Peaches Pit Party on K-Bear 101. What's with these stories as of late of people releasing animals into these public places? We talked about that one guy that released a raccoon in this bar. And then now I'm reading this here story from r/offbeat on Reddit, which, by the way, this is a side thing. This is a side thing I wanted to note because recently somebody decided to comment on a Facebook post that had nothing to do with what this person was commenting. They just decided to put it there. Somebody went all political on one of our videos, and then someone replied to that guy's comment and said, Peaches is a leftist because he uses Reddit. What kind of logic is that? Anyway, I use Reddit because it has fun subreddits like r/offbeat where there's dumb news stories. And this guy released crickets in protest. Where was it? What does it say exactly? Crickets released in protest disrupt Mecklenburg County Commission meeting. Someone allegedly just released crickets inside the chamber. The meeting, of course, had to pause while a member of the cleaning crew came in to vacuum them up. And I'm just imagining like three guys walking in like Ghostbusters with these vacuums on their back, vacuuming up all the crickets there is, which they're annoying, man. Crickets, I mean, if I were them, I would just, step on them, because they're inside a place. It's going to be tougher just to vacuum them. You might as well just walk by with something and smush them real fast. I don't know. Maybe that's too mean. Well, a Florida man in the news again. He's 72 years old. He's been arrested for making a few too many 911 calls. How many exactly? Well, more than 16,000. Samuel Lee Thomas has made more than 3,400 calls to 911 this year alone, and over 16,000 calls in the past 5 years. In his last call, Thomas reported that someone across the street was firing an AR-15. When officers arrived at the scene, they found a family with young kids just having a barbecue. They told police there was no one firing a rifle and that Thomas was simply harassing them as he has for years, often calling 911 to falsely accuse them of drug dealing, disorderly conduct, a whole bunch of other crazy stuff. Cops arrested Thomas, charged him with stalking, filing a false police report, resisting arrest. He has a long criminal history, including convictions for battery, DUI, and drug possession. Surprisingly, this is his first arrest for misusing the 911 system. I was trying to think of how many times I have dialed 911. There was that accident that I was in back in January. I would say that's like the first time in years, maybe. That might be the only time I've ever really called 911. That's it. I'm lucky. I'm not going to call them 15,999 more times. Is this a world record? Can a Guinness World Record give this guy a world record for how many times one singular person can call 911? Maybe they don't want that in the book because there will be people that would be influenced to try to beat that world record and just annoy every 911 operator. I just realized it is, in fact, Tuesday, which means there will be a free live show tonight as part of the River Concert Series with the Idaho Falls Arts Council. Happens every Tuesday evening from now to late August on the Greenbelt stage, located between D and E Streets on Memorial Drive. Starts at 7, goes till about 8. You can grab a picnic dinner, your favorite lawn chair, bring the whole family to the river for a night of music. Now, Earl Nelson and the company will be on stage tonight. They're a Rocky Mountain Country Blues group, which sounds pretty interesting. I mean, go enjoy some free live music while the weather is nice this weekend. It's looking a lot cooler than what it has been. So if you want that warmer weather, 80 plus, make sure to go out to the Greenbelt stage tonight, located between D and E Streets on Memorial Drive. The River Concert Series will continue with their second show of the season with the Idaho Falls Arts Council tonight at 7. Now, I was looking at this here story about a TikTok video. This lady, I guess, is proud to say she moved back in with her family just to save money. Yeah, this lady was just like trying to show a tutorial on making sourdough bread, but the whole thing's gone viral because in the process, she is trying to say, hey, it's totally okay to move back in with your parents, because of the high cost of rent in most places. In particular, this lady's living in Massachusetts. She moved back in with her parents. She wanted to prove there's more than just saving money. She also wanted to spend as much time with them as she could and liked being close if she needed their emotional support. Now, I do miss my family quite a lot. Father's Day, just call my dad. That's about it. Maybe send him a card. I'm living completely on my own out here in Idaho. And I think it would be rather hilarious if I somehow did this afternoon show and just moved back in with my parents, and you would just hear the calamity that is downstairs as I did my show from my old bedroom, just moved back into there. I think people would hate that 100%. I'd be like, oh man, I'm enjoying this Southern California weather while you're in Idaho suffering during the wintertime. Yeah, I wouldn't be live and local like I should be. But most radio DJs do that type of thing where they do the show from like the comfort of their own home somewhere else. And they're not even in the state whatsoever. They haven't been to the state whatsoever from where they're broadcasting from. I'm right here. I'm right here. Anyway, that was just something to talk about. Like, Okay, cool. Good for you, lady. You're saving money for moving back in with your parents. I don't know. Well, for I think a good amount of time this morning, Victor was asking this question. He found it on Ask Reddit. What's the most ridiculous thing you heard a man refuse to do because it was, quote, too feminine or for girls? And so I wanted to ask this question for the afternoon show, see what you can come up with, 208-535-1015. I do see a couple here in the K-Bear 101 Idaho Rock and Metal Facebook group. I mean, we talked about the one answer, pedicures and manicures, cook himself dinner from Katrina, like not even use the microwave to heat something up. I'm a guy who loves to cook. I love to discover new recipes, new ways to do things. I love using the crock pot for my lazy meals. Mark said, drive a Jetta. 208-535-1015. What's the most ridiculous thing you heard a man refuse to do because it was, for the girls? Call in for To Peach Their Own. Well, I asked the question for To Peach Their Own, what's the most ridiculous thing you heard a man refuse to do because it was too feminine or for girls? And then, loyal listener Troy calls me and says the signal, at least in his vehicle, is not the best. It keeps cutting in and out, so maybe that's the reason why there has been no answers for today for To Peach Their Own for that question. So I was just looking at some of the Facebook Facebook comments here. Wear pink. Back in the day, there was that shirt that says "Tough guys wear pink." It was like a bold statement. I don't care. I wear bright colors all the time. There's quite a few loud shirts that I have in my closet. Now, Victor's the type of dude to only wear black. If you've ever seen him in a different color, it's quite bizarre because everyone's so used to seeing him in a black shirt that if he ever were to wear a pink shirt, it would be weird, right? Let's see here. Go grocery shopping. I love going grocery shopping. I go to the grocery store way too much. I go there almost every single day. I never do the whole grocery haul. Like for the most part, I rarely ever do the grocery haul. Most recently, I went to Costco and spent like $145, and I've been surviving off of that until we get paid, which is still a whopping 3 days away. Anyway, if you want to let me know your answer, if you can hear me right now, if the signal's good enough in your car, or if you're listening through the app, let me know your answer for To Peach Their Own. What's the most ridiculous thing you heard a man refuse to do because it was too feminine or for girls? Or maybe you already answered that question this morning on Victor's morning show. You might want to just answer it again. Anyway, just let me know. If not, I'll move on to something else. No big deal. All right, I officially give up on today's To Peach Their Own question, just because, people are answering it only on Facebook. They're not calling into the show. Sometimes there's days where I get nonstop calls. There are other days where I feel like I'm broadcasting to absolutely nobody, even though I know there are tons of people tuned in. And so I just figured I would use this time to talk about an upcoming giveaway that you got to be on the lookout for on the K-Bear, Alt, and Cannonball 101 apps. If you see a little button there on the menu that pops up that says Load of Load, click on that. We'll be doing a giveaway with the new remastered edition of the Metallica album Load. All you have to do is fill out that form, and that'll enter you into the grand prize drawing for the cassette version of the remastered version of the album, a CD with 3 different CDs, one of them with the remastered album, the other 2 with unreleased material, and then also a vinyl record as well. That'll be the grand prize there. But then also we'll give away some digital download codes for the album as well, teaming up with Metallica to give away a load of load is what we're calling it. Be on the lookout for that on our apps, K-Bear, Alt, and Cannonball. Thanks for listening to Peach's Pit Party, the podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please share, subscribe, and rate the podcast. Peach's Pit Party is hosted by me, Peaches, a.k.a. Brendan Peach, and is a production of Riverbend Media Group. For more information or to contact the show, visit riverbendmediagroup.com. Until next time, Peach out.